If you haven't looked into the story of Christopher Columbus, you cannot possibly imagine how nightmarish it really is. And I'm not even a guy who wants to get rid of Columbus Day, or at least I wasn't, but now I'm not sure. It really is that bad. The truth is, Columbus was a deeply ambitious yet arrogant man who was absolutely a product of his time. And oh boy, it was quite the time to be alive. Columbus was born and raised in the Republic of Genoa, a maritime trading superpower that taught him everything he needed to know about the sea. Now, the thing about that trading I mentioned is that it included the slave trade. It is believed that every Genoese household, even the ones with modest incomes, had at least 1 to 2 female slaves. These women could be tortured or even burned at the stake for trying to escape. This is the context in which Columbus grew up, and it informed his views on the populations he discovered. When he was 25, Columbus was a common sailor who shipwrecked off the coast of Portugal. He would go on to marry a well-off Portuguese woman and spend years trying to convince the Portuguese king to finance a trip across the Atlantic. It's not known why exactly Columbus became obsessed with this idea. His interest in Asia came primarily from the writings of Marco Polo. The Venetian merchant had written a fantastical account of his journey along the Silk Road in the 13th century. This was the first ever detailed account of Asia by a European, and it thrilled the continent. But by Columbus's time, it was badly out of date. For one thing, it described the Mongol Empire as ruling China, which had collapsed more than 100 years earlier. But Columbus became convinced that a sea voyage to Asia was possible, which would open up the vast wealth of the Mongols. After 8 years of unsuccessfully trying to convince the Portuguese king to finance the trip, he turned to Spain. And it turns out that Spain was in a dire need of distraction. The country was on the verge of wrapping up centuries of war with Muslim invaders who had taken over the Iberian Peninsula. This was a military campaign known as the Reconquista. Columbus would actually sail on the same year as the last battle to finally expel the invaders from Spanish territory. There was also this little thing known as the Spanish Inquisition. During the Inquisition, tens of thousands of people were prosecuted for supposed crimes against the Catholic Church. Ferdinand and Isabella, the extremely devout monarchs of Spain, had started the Inquisition to forge a Christian empire. They agreed to finance Columbus's journey in part because they hoped to convert vast numbers of Asians to Christianity. But Columbus would not find Asia, and he wouldn't even really find America. He would instead become lost in the new world he opened up to Europe. And the journey that began with one of the greatest voyages in human history would end with Columbus enfeebled and humiliated, literally going insane because he could not comprehend what he had found. I'm going through all of American history in chronological order. This has been day 8 of the entire history of America.